All right, let's dive right in. We're tackling, I think, one of the biggest challenges for anyone looking for a car right now,
Oh, absolutely. It's a tough market out there.
and that's finding that perfect sweet spot, where reliability meets affordability.
Especially under that magic number we've set for ourselves today, $15,000.
Exactly. We need a car that's efficient, that's dependable, and this is the big one, is not going to mean you're on a first-name basis with your mechanic.
Right. No constant agonizing and super expensive relationship there, all while staying under that 15K ceiling.
And that budget is everything, isn't it? It really defines where you're looking.
It really does. It forces you to shop almost exclusively in the mid-2010s. We're
Yeah.
talking, specifically the 2014 through 2018 model years.
Which is a pretty interesting time for cars, actually.
It's a critical time
Yeah.
because the technology is mature enough that the kinks have been worked out, so it's reliable, but it's new enough that you still get essential modern features.
Yeah.
Our goal today, it isn't about finding luxury or speed.
Yeah.
It's about defining what the auto community really reveres. It's called the AB car.
The AB car. I love that term. It's the perfect foundation for this whole deep dive. It's for the person who just needs reliable transport, period. They don't need excitement. They don't need status. They need a car that just works with minimal fuss.
And that's most people. For most budget-focused buyers, maintenance isn't a top priority. It's not something you think about until it absolutely becomes mandatory, usually in an emergency.
Right, when the check engine light comes on and your stomach just drops.
Exactly. So what we've done is synthesize just massive volumes of owner feedback, long-term cost analyses, and official reliability reports to build what we think is a definitive top 10 list.
Okay.
It's all focused on value and longevity. These are cars that have been proven time and time again to easily cross that 200,000-mile mark.
And as we go through this list, I think you're going to see a phenomenal, almost monotonous consolidation of power.
That's a good way to put it.
This entire top 10 list is just overwhelmingly dominated by 2, maybe 3 key manufacturers. But our mission today is to give you a shortcut. A fully vetted list of the absolute best mechanical bets you can make with that 15 grand.
And we're starting this countdown at number 10.
Yep, number 10. And it's a popular crossover. It has a stellar reputation on the surface, but as we found out, its hidden maintenance costs might just make a budget buyer run for the hills.
Let's get into it.
Kicking off our list at number 10, this is the car that immediately appeals to the person who likes that idea of capability,
Yeah.
a higher seating position for the daily commute. It's the Subaru Forester.
A very popular choice.
Yeah.
And to hit that sub-$15,000 budget, you're primarily looking at the model years between 2015 and 2018.
And you see them everywhere. What's the initial appeal?
Well, Forester has that immediate curb appeal because of its standard all-wheel drive, that's Subaru's signature.
Right.
It makes it an incredibly attractive choice for anyone living in a climate with serious winter weather or, for someone who needs that capability for weekend outdoor use.
So on paper, it looks like a really smart, rugged choice. It sits higher than a sedan, gives you better visibility, more utility.
Exactly. However, and this is a big however, this is where our deep dive starts with a really crucial reality check.
Okay.
Because its maintenance reality does not align with its rugged reputation.
And this is where we have to pause and really dig into the granular detail. We're looking at long-term owner forums, technical service bulletins, all of it. And while the Forester is, mechanically strong in a lot of areas, these specific model years, especially the 2015 and 2018, show some recurring trouble spots.
And these trouble spots are both expensive and, surprisingly, very frequent.
All right, so what's the number one issue?
So let's start with the big one, the thing that just kept coming up over and over again.
Right.
The air conditioning system. It's chronic.
Oh, no, not the AC. That's always an expensive fix.
Always. And we're seeing these premature AC failures reported by, tons of owners, especially across the 2015 and 2018 models.
So what's actually breaking? Is it the compressor?
That's the main culprit. Yeah, the failures typically stem from a couple of key issues. Either the compressor just seizes up completely or you get these really persistent refrigerant leaks that, mechanics have a heck of a time trying to track down.
I can just feel the dread of the budget buyer right there. A seized compressor is not a simple top off of Freon.
Not at all. We saw multiple reports of the repair costing anywhere from $1,400 to well over $2,000.
Wow.
And what's really crucial for you to understand is the mechanism of failure here. When a compressor fails, it doesn't just, stop working. It can often send fine metallic particles, basically metal shavings, throughout the entire AC system.
Oh, that's a nightmare. So it contaminates everything.
Exactly. That contamination means the mechanic can't just swap in a new compressor. They have to flush the entire system. They potentially have to replace the condenser, the expansion valve, all of it.
So the labor costs just skyrocket.
They do. One owner of a 2018 model shared a dealer quote that reached $3,500 for a full system overhaul.
3,500. That single unscheduled repair eats up nearly a quarter of your entire $15,000 budget.
It's a massive risk for a car that's supposed to be reliable.
Okay, that's bad. But you said it doesn't start there.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't stop with the climate control. We also found widespread and really pervasive reports concerning the suspension in the driveline. And these parts are often failing at surprisingly low mileage compared to its peers higher on this list.
So what are we talking about specifically?
We specifically noted a lot of owner accounts detailing premature failure in key suspension components, namely the control arm bushings and the ball joints.
Okay, can you break that down for someone who might not be a suspension expert?
Of course. So think of the control arm as the piece that connects your wheel hub to the frame of the car. And the bushings are these little rubber sleeves that isolate that metal connection from the body, which cuts down on vibration and noise.
Got it. And the ball joint.
The ball joint acts kind of like a shoulder for your car's suspension. It allows the wheel to move up and down and pivot smoothly while staying attached.
So why is it so alarming that these parts are failing at, what, 45,000 miles, as some owners reported?
Because control arm bushings and ball joints are wear items, sure, but in a durable vehicle, you should reasonably expect them to last well over 100,000 miles, often closer to 150,000 or more.
Especially in a compact crossover that's not, doing extreme off-roading.
Exactly. Seeing failures reported at 45 or 60,000 miles, it really suggests an engineering weak point or maybe an inferior material choice for those rubber components. The result is you get substantial noise, poor handling, and eventually a failure that requires a costly replacement.
And we saw the repair costs to match. I saw one quote for replacing just the front lower control arm bushings, and it was $1,375.
Another $1,000+ repair needed at potentially 50,000 miles. It just keeps adding up.
And this pattern just continues.
This pattern of frequent component wear continues. Multiple owners of those 2015 and 2018 models also mentioned premature wheel bearing replacement, some as low as 60,000 miles.
And a wheel bearing, again, that's something that should last a long time.
A very long time. It's a sealed unit that lets the wheel spin freely. It should easily last over 100,000 miles.
Okay, and then there's the final red flag, the really big one, the transmission concerns.
Yes. For the 2018 model year specifically, there were a lot of reports of major issues with the continuously variable transmission, the CVT. It was often centered on the torque converter.
The torque converter manages the connection between the engine and the transmission, right?
You got it. And failures there led to some owners needing a full OEM transmission replacement.
A whole new transmission. That's the death knell for a used car.
It can be.
Yeah.
Now, many of those were covered under an extended warranty because it was a known recurring problem. But that fact alone should be a massive warning sign for a used car buyer.
Wait, a known major transmission fault that required dealer intervention? That should absolutely make any budget buyer pause.
It should.
The fact is, all our sources indicate that while the Forester is capable, its maintenance cost and the frequency of these specific failures are just significantly higher and more unpredictable than the Toyota and Honda crossovers we'll get to later.
Right.
So it lands at number 10 because it's technically on the list of reliable cars, but it is a very high-risk purchase in this price range.
It's the definition of a functional car with a high potential for budget-crushing, unscheduled repairs. If you are going to buy one, you have to diligently inspect that AC function and have a mechanic look very closely at the suspension components before you sign anything.
Okay, let's transition. We're moving from the rugged but complicated Subaru to our first core sedan alternative, coming in at number 9. This car offers reliability, but its main focus is on delivering excellent value and style. We're talking about the Hyundai Elantra.
For that under $15,000 budget, you're going to be targeting the mid-2010s models, likely before the 2019 redesign. The Elantra is generally seen as just a fantastic value option.
It was around this time that Hyundai really started to break through that old reputation, right?
It really was. They broke through the notion that an economy car had to look and feel, basic and cheap.
I remember when their design language really started turning heads in that era. Our sources praise the Elantra for offering ample style and surprisingly generous feature content for what is, at its heart, an economy car.
For sure, especially if you can find a well-auctioned GT variant in your price range. It's really smart buying. Owners often compliment its ergonomic interior layout and the overall presentation. Just felt more cohesive than some of its competitors at the time.
And reliability-wise.
It holds up strongly. It's a very compelling alternative to the big Japanese rivals, offering that dependable service at a more attractive initial price point.
Okay, so it really hits that value sweet spot.
Yeah.
You get style, you get features, and you get dependability. So what's the catch? What's the trade-off here?
The trade-off is the driving experience itself.
Ah,
While it's highly reliable and, aesthetically pleasing, the Elantra is noted in a lot of reviews to lack that sporty edge, that dynamic engagement you'd find in the rivals we'll discuss soon, like the Mazda 3 or the Honda Civic.
so it's not a driver's car.
Not at all. Its focus is purely utilitarian. It's meant to be a strong, quiet commuter with excellent standard fuel efficiency. If you prioritize mechanical excitement, you're probably going to find it a bit sterile.
Which brings us directly to number 8. This is the compromise car for the style-conscious budget buyer. This is the choice for the learner who wants that mechanical certainty of the top Japanese brands, but absolutely refuses to buy what they consider a boring car.
Yes, we are talking about the Mazda 3.
My personal favorite in the looks department.
A lot of people's favorite. Now, to keep the Mazda 3 under 15 grand, we're generally looking for models older than the expensive 2019 redesign. The real sweet spot is likely going to be the 2017 to 2018 models
And why those years specifically?
because they blend Mazda's very reliable Skyactiv technology with those highly desirable aesthetics. They just look fantastic.
They really do. Our sources consistently highlight the Mazda 3's appearance. It's routinely praised as the best-looking car in its class. It offers a premium, sophisticated feel that genuinely elevates the daily commute.
It is the closest thing you'll find to a budget luxury car on this entire list.
And it's not just about looks. It scores really highly on comfort metrics, too.
It does. It's noted as being significantly quieter on the highway than many of its direct rivals.
So how does Mazda achieve that improved highway quietness without driving the cost up excessively? What's the secret sauce there?
It really just comes down to focused engineering and material choice. In these mid-2010s models, Mazda started paying far more attention to sound-deadening materials.
So more insulation?
Yeah, more insulation of the door panels, better seals around the windows and doors, and really focusing on reducing road and wind noise intrusion into the cabin. They deliberately focused on achieving an upscale feel, knowing that while they couldn't beat Toyota on, say, sales volume, they could beat them on refinement.
And that makes a huge difference on a long commute.
It results in a much more relaxing experience for the long-distance commuter.
Absolutely. You get a high-scale interior, a quiet highway ride, and consistent reliability. It sounds like the perfect package.
It is the reliable alternative to Toyota and Honda for the design-conscious buyer. However, there is a critical expert insight here, a point of disappointment for the driving enthusiasts.
Ah, the trade-off again. I knew there had to be one. It became too focused on comfort.
Exactly. The older generations of the Mazda 3, they were famous for their zoom spirit. They were truly fun, tossable, engaging little cars.
I remember those.
The newer models that we're targeting, the 2017s and 18s, they're described as more sedate, less fun to drive than those older generations. They really shifted the focus away from sharp handling and toward ride comfort and quietness.
So for the average commuter, this is fantastic news. A comfortable, quiet, reliable, and beautiful car.
It's perfect for them.
But for the driving enthusiast, the excitement is gone.
The excitement is dampened, yes. It still handles well, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't have that visceral engagement of, say, the number 2 car on our list.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, the Mazda 3 easily earns its spot here by finding that perfect balance between dependability, desirable design, and refinement, especially when you compare it to the more sterile Elantra.
Okay, we are moving away from the aesthetic and dynamic choices, and we are diving headfirst into the utilitarian heavy hitters. These are the pillars of mechanical longevity that define the used car market. This is the segment where boring equals brilliant.
The titans of reliability.
Coming in at number 7, we jump back into the crossover segment with the legendary Toyota RAV4.
The RAV4. If you look at any major long-term reliability study, this name is always in the top tier. For budget shoppers, we're focusing on the 2013 to 2018 generation.
And this is just the classic compact SUV.
It is. Buyers choose it, first and foremost, for that elevated seating position, the exceptional cargo capacity, and of course the promise of Toyota reliability.
You see these everywhere. So what makes the RAV4's reliability so steadfast compared to the Forester we just talked about?
The core difference is just predictable conservative engineering. The sources we looked at describe the RAV4 as bulletproof,
I've heard that a lot.
and that reputation for a low rate of unscheduled expensive repairs is profoundly well-earned. Unlike the Forester, which had those chronic issues with component failure at low mileage, the RAV4 systems, the AC, the suspension, the transmission, they're just consistently robust.
So the maintenance costs are not only low, they're predictable. You know you're going to be changing oil, filters, and brakes, not control arm bushings and AC compressors.
Precisely. Maintenance is predictable and low cost, and the vehicle is wholly capable of easily reaching 200,000 miles without a major engine or transmission intervention. It's really the standard against which almost every other compact crossover has to be measured.
If you need a utility vehicle on a budget, the RAV4 is one of the safest bets you can possibly make.
Absolutely.
Now, we have to talk about its arch-rival, its direct competitor. Coming in at number 6, the other cornerstone of crossover reliability, the Honda CR-V.
A CR-V.
Yeah.
This is Honda's direct counterpunch to the RV4. For the budget buyer, we specifically recommend the 2015-2016 models as a true sweet spot.
Why those 2 years?
They just balance that proven reliability with features that still feel relatively modern. You're talking about things like backup cameras and improved infotainment systems becoming standard. However, the entire 2011 to 2018 range is very highly regarded.
And like the RAV4, the CR-V is also universally labeled bulletproof. It's highly capable of crossing that 200,000-mile mark. So, if both are so reliable, how do we distinguish between them for the listener? Why is the CR-V slightly higher on our list?
This is where we connect back to a really interesting piece of anecdotal feedback we found, synthesizing a lot of comments from the long-term owner community. While the RAV4 is undeniably reliable, the Honda CR-V is often noted for feeling slightly sturdier, a bit more robust than its Toyota equivalent.
Is that just a feeling, though? Or is there a mechanical reason for that? Where does that perceived robustness come from?
It's a combination of a lot of small engineering decisions. Honda often tunes their suspension to be slightly stiffer, which contributes to a feeling of greater control and solidity on the road. Furthermore, the interior plastics and the switchgear in the Honda often feel marginally more substantial, the thunk of the door closing, While both cars are engineered for longevity, the CR-V frequently wins on the perception of durability. That tactile feeling that the vehicle is engineered to take a real beating.
That distinction really matters. You want to feel confident in your budget purchase. And speaking of confidence, let's just revisit the comparison with the high-maintenance Forester.
Yes, this is critical. We found sources that explicitly stated the Honda CR-V has been consistently outpacing the Subaru Forester for years when it comes to reliability.
That's a direct quote.
That's a direct quote. If your goal is a highly reliable, low-maintenance crossover on a budget, the CR-V and the RAV4 are the gold standards. They leave the Forester as the high-risk enthusiast choice.
So the CR-V is just practical, supremely dependable family transport.
That's it in a nutshell.
Now we drop the seating position and we move into the midsize sedan market. At number 5, we have the undisputed, almost painfully reliable leader of that segment. It's the Toyota Camry.
The Camry is the definitive AB car in its purest possible form. When you're shopping mid-2010s models, you're getting premium mid-size car at a budget price.
And its whole reason for being is comfort.
It prioritizes comfort for commuting above all else. It is not exciting, but it is exceptionally well-built and incredibly solid.
I think everyone listening has either owned a Camry or knows someone who drove one until it basically became an antique. That reputation for longevity is just legendary.
And that legend is built on quantifiable facts. The Camry is an absolute staple for reliability and exceptionally low maintenance costs. When we look at owner forums, the expectation is not just 100,000 or 200,000 miles.
No.
Owners explicitly state that they expect this car to last 15 to 25 years if it's properly maintained.
15 to 25 years. That is just an astonishing life expectancy for a mass-market sedan. What are the engineering choices that make this car last so long?
It's the philosophy of over-engineering the fundamentals and resisting the temptation to add complexity where it's not needed. The engines in these mid-2010s Camrys are known for their robust, basic design.
So nothing fancy?
Nothing fancy. They don't use high-strung turbos or overly complex direct injection systems that cause carbon buildup issues later on in life. They rely on proven technology, like port injection and conventional automatic transmissions that have been perfected over decades.
So it's boring technology that Toyota has just perfected into mechanical excellence.
That's the perfect way to describe it.
It's a vehicle you keep until it essentially disintegrates around you.
Which, as you noted, takes a very, very long time. This is a car where the cost of ownership, outside of gas and insurance, is almost entirely routine maintenance. That predictability is worth more than any fancy feature when you're on a $15,000 budget.
Moving on to number 4, we introduced the hybrid choice, mixing that legendary Toyota reliability with extreme efficiency. It's the Toyota Prius.
If your absolute main goal, beyond simple longevity, is minimizing your gasoline expenses, the Prius is the ultimate choice for the budget-conscious driver. The sheer cost savings on fuel over years of ownership make it a financial powerhouse.
Okay, and for the budget, where are we looking, model year-wise?
To hit that sub-$15,000 mark, we are targeting the earlier generation, so generally pre-2015 models.
The Prius is listed repeatedly as a top reliable AB car, and it's famous for its use as a taxi and in other fleet vehicles, which is the ultimate stress test for durability.
That's the proof of concept right there. But for the budget buyer, the critical question is always the battery.
Right, the big, scary hybrid battery.
The hybrid powertrain is complex, but Toyota mastered the system years and years ago. When looking at these pre-2015 models, people worry about that large, expensive, high-voltage battery failing.
So how does the budget buyer mitigate that fear? Did our sources suggest that these batteries are failing prematurely?
Not at all. The sources, particularly owner forums that are tracking longevity, show that Toyota's nickel-metal hydride battery technology from that era is surprisingly resilient.
Really?
Really. While a battery replacement is a major expense, we're talking $2,000 to $4,000, these batteries frequently last 150,000 to 200,000 miles or more, especially in milder climates.
So what's the secret? How do they make them last so long?
Toyota excelled at creating a really robust battery management system. It's all about software and cooling. The system keeps the battery operating within a very narrow, non-stressed temperature range.
That's a crucial distinction. So it's not just the battery chemistry itself, it's the sophisticated cooling and management systems that Toyota developed over decades that maximize its life.
Exactly. The sophistication is in the management, not necessarily the chemistry. And the reliability of the gasoline engine in the Prius is also a key factor.
How so?
It runs on what is called the Atkinson cycle, which is optimized for efficiency, not power. And it often operates at lower stresses because the electric motor is handling the heavy lifting of acceleration from a stop.
So the hybrid system, while it is complex, it actually reduces the wear and tear on the gasoline engine.
That's the genius of it. You get longevity and maximum fuel savings. Hitting the high 30s or even low 40s in combined MPG is still remarkable in this segment, and that consistent low cost of operation makes a massive difference over years of ownership. It easily offsets the eventual, though infrequent, battery replacement cost.
We're now entering the top tier, the compact and mid-sized champions that just define the segment and offer the pinnacle of budget mechanical certainty. Coming in at number 3, the mid-sized counterpart to the Camry, bringing Honda's reputation for robustness, the Honda Accord.
For maximum value and reliability, that $15,000 budget will put you squarely in the 2010 to 2015 model year range. The Accord is a direct competitor to the Camry, and just like its Toyota rival, it consistently reports very high reliability metrics.
200,000 miles is no problem.
It's easily capable of hitting 200,000 miles with only routine servicing.
Earlier, when we were comparing the RAV4 and the CR-V, we noted that anecdotal feeling of robustness in the Honda vehicles. Does that same feeling carry over to the Accord versus the Camry?
It absolutely does. And this is where the choice between the two often comes down to driver preference. While the Camry prioritizes that quiet, almost floaty comfort,
Right.
the Accord generally offers a more engaging and confident driving experience. Its steering is often slightly sharper, and the suspension tuning is a bit tighter. It offers that compelling blend of dependability and a solid, sure-footed driving feel.
So if you prefer a slightly larger, more substantial sedan than the next two contenders, and you prioritize dependability but you want just a touch more engagement than the ultra-soft Camry, the Accord is the move.
Precisely. It provides everything you need in a dependable sedan, packaged with that typical Honda engineering confidence. And it generally retains a high resale value, which is another sign of its perceived longevity and durability in the marketplace.
All right, now we move to number 2. This is my favorite entry on the list, personally, because it represents the ultimate mechanical sweet spot. It's the most reliable, compact car that still provides genuine driver engagement. It's the Honda Civic.
The Civic is just an outstanding, durable AB car. It is the definition of simple mechanical resilience. In the used market, you can often find budget trims of the acclaimed 2017 to 2019 generation.
Wow, that recent.
In some cases, yes. Or you can go back a bit further for exceptional value. Maintenance is universally cheap, thanks to high parts availability and simple mechanics that any competent garage can handle.
But unlike the Elantra, or as we'll see, the Corolla, the sources are just exuberant about the driving experience here. It's not just confident, it's genuinely joyous to drive. How did Honda achieve that mechanical brilliance in a compact commuter car?
This all comes down to brilliant chassis engineering and tuning. The Civic, especially those 2017 to 2019 models, features incredibly quick steering and a notably athletic chassis.
So it's fun in the corners.
It's a blast. Car enthusiasts praise Honda for achieving this fun factor purely through suspension tuning and geometry. They made the steering super responsive and accurate without needing overly expensive components or tires. It just feels light, nimble, and really stable through corners. It's a true mechanical outlier in the compact segment.
I find that so fascinating. They made a cheap, reliable car that is genuinely fun to pilot, but we have to address the great aesthetic caveat, which the sources did not shy away from.
Oh, the aesthetic caveat, yes. While the mechanicals are brilliant, the cost-saving measures show up everywhere else. The exterior design of that recent generation was described by critics in very strong terms.
How strong?
Positively atrocious and ugly were common descriptors.
Wait, so Honda made this dynamically brilliant car, and then they decided to design the exterior with the blindfold on. How could the aesthetic feedback be so universally negative if the engineering was so stellar?
It's the ultimate function overflash scenario, all driven by cost control. And the interior reflects the sacrifice, too. The cabin can be noisy at speed due to a lack of extensive sound deadening, a sharp contrast to the refined Mazda 3.
Right.
The front seats are often described as unsupportive on long drives, the center console is just dominated by hard plastic, and the infotainment on the budget trims is often dated and pixelated. The cost savings had to come from somewhere.
And they came from comfort and aesthetics.
They did.
So the Civic is a pure mechanical winner. It drives fantastically, it's reliable as a stone, but you might not love looking at it or sitting in it for hours. It demands that trade-off of aesthetic pleasure for driving engagement and mechanical certainty.
That is the essence of the Civic. It is reliable, cheap to run, and the chassis is a genuine engineering masterpiece at this price point. It is everything a budget car should be, provided you can tolerate its looks.
That level of detail brings us, inevitably, to the gold standard, the undeniable, undisputed champion of budget reliability. If the Civic is the mechanical sweet spot, this next car is the mechanical certainty. Drum roll, please. At number 1, it is the Toyota Corolla.
The Corolla stands as the champion. It's proven not by enthusiasm or style, but by sheer quantifiable data and the overwhelming volume of owner reviews we analyzed. It is the absolute king of low-fuss ownership.
Let's talk numbers. Why specifically the Corolla? What's the data say?
Okay, let's focus on the 2015 model year as a perfect example of what a budget shopper should target. The average price is hovering right around that $15,000 mark.
And the metrics.
The metrics are just staggering. RepairPal gives the 2015 Corolla a 4.5 out of 5 reliability rating. But crucially, it ranks at number 1 out of 46 compact cars.
Number 1 out of 46.
You simply cannot find a better quantified score in this entire category.
That data is phenomenal. Hashtag 1 out of 46 competitors. That speaks volumes about its longevity.
It really does. Owners of this generation routinely anticipate lifespans of 15 to 25 years. This longevity is just baked into its design. Like the Camry, the Corolla relies on robust, proven, non-turbocharged engines and traditional transmissions. It avoids high-risk, expensive complexity at all costs.
And the true cost of ownership must be negligible when you factor in fuel economy alongside those low maintenance costs.
It's described by owners as costing next to nothing to maintain. You combine that low maintenance frequency with stellar fuel economy, the LE Eco trim, for instance, hits 35 combined MPG, and you realize why this car just dominates the budget category.
It maximizes longevity while minimizing the two biggest recurring costs, unexpected repairs and gasoline.
Exactly.
Dynamically, though, this is where it pays the price for that mechanical certainty. If the Civic is joyous, the Corolla must be indifferent.
That's a polite way of putting it. The Corolla does not win on excitement. Reviewers consistently use descriptive terms like modest acceleration and indifferent handling.
It's not fun.
Its steering is often described as numb or disconnected, and dynamically, it is thoroughly mediocre. It is the car you buy because you want to get from point A to point B without any drama, mechanical, or emotional.
So it wins on pure, undeniable competence and predictability.
Total competence. But it also offers some surprising practicality. For a compact car, it has very user-friendly controls, a quiet and compliant ride, and one unique feature:
What's that?
cavernous rear legroom. It gives the Corolla near mid-sized passenger space in the back. It's built for comfortable, reliable commuting. The Corolla is the ultimate choice for the buyer who wants to set it and forget it. It demands the least fuss of any car on this entire top 10 list.
So what does this phenomenal list tell the budget shopper? If we look back at the entire countdown, the message is overwhelmingly clear. 8 out of our 10 spots are dominated by Toyota and Honda, with Mazda and Hyundai offering some really stylish and capable alternatives in the middle. The key to hitting that under $15,000 budget sweet spot is zeroing in on those incredibly robust mid-2010s model years, roughly 2014 to 2018.
And I think the core distinction here is the difference between reputation and reality. Reliability doesn't mean maintenance-free. It means avoiding unscheduled, budget-crushing maintenance. The Subaru Forester, for example, is highly respected, but its need for frequent, expensive repairs for things like AC compressor failure and premature suspension component replacement, it completely negates the budget savings.
Whereas Toyota and Honda offer the lowest risk of those massive budget-crushing failures because they prioritize perfected, proven, simple technology. They're just built for the long haul.
Yes, they embody that AB car philosophy.
Yeah.
Functional, predictable, and durable. You save money not just on the initial purchase price, but critically on the long-term cost of ownership, which is the most important element of any budget car purchase.
And if your only goal is to drive, never worry, and spend next to nothing on ownership for the next 2 decades, the data clearly crowns the Toyota Corolla as the undisputed champion of practical budget reliability. It is the gold standard for pure, unadulterated function.
That functionality, however, it comes at a price, an aesthetic and dynamic one. We noted how the Civic's exterior design was called positively atrocious by critics, and the Corolla is dynamically mediocre. The most reliable cars are often the least exciting to look at and drive.
So here's the provocative thought we want to leave you with. The real question facing the budget buyer today. Since the most mechanically certain cars tend to look, well, ugly or feel boring in the mid-2010s, should a budget buyer prioritize the fantastic design and the premium, quiet feel of the Mazda 3 and accept a slightly higher maintenance risk?
Or should you truly embrace the unexciting, bulletproof #1 function of the Toyota Corolla, accepting its numb handling as the price of perfect mechanical certainty? That is the choice between style and the ultimate peace of mind.